Hello, my name's Ajay and you're watching The Defining Moment for Creating the Culture of Conscience. Today it's a pleasure for us to be joined by Mr. Ramanuja Das. Mr. Das is a minister of religion and a preacher at the Bhakti Vedanta Mana Hare Krishna Temple of Watford. He preaches in London, across Europe and in India. He's been married for 26 years and is the father of two. Mr. Das, thank you very much for joining us on The Defining Moment.
Hare Krishna.
Well, today's topic is an introduction to Krishna consciousness, and I'm sure that's going to be very fascinating for us to find out. But first of all, can you please share with us a defining moment from your life?
Well, I was very religious since my childhood, and I was interested in all the different religions, and I had lots of questions which I was looking answer for. And that's the reason I was studying different religions. And there's one point I wanted to leave and wanted just to become a sadhu in Haridwar. But somehow or other I end up coming to London. And in Southall Broadway I met one devotee from Hare Krishna, English lady, who was distributing these literatures. Of course I was already interested in religions. So she gave me one book. Actually, I would like to show the book. This was the book, actually. She gave me. And the moment I opened the book, and there was a point that one page, particularly when I read, and I immediately realized this is the answers I'm going to get it from. That answer I was looking for my whole life. And that was a really defining moment of my life. You may ask, what was the line what I read at that particular time.
And what was it? Yes.
Well, majority of the people in India were defining the gurus to be the God, and where I was not. When I read this one line of Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of International Society of Krishna Consciousness, is well known as ISKCON or Hare Krishna people. So when he explained that Guru is not a God, the Guru is a teacher, he is a representative of God. God is the only God, nobody can become God. So the person who is actually claims to be God, and the person is actually, you can reverse this, is actually DOG, he says. That's what he said in this. But he said anybody who claims to be a God, you cannot say he's a God, but rather you can reverse his DOG, dog. So I was wow, this person has got so much conviction. And so he said, so Guru is just a teacher who teaches about God. And that's exactly, I said, wow, this person is great because I haven't met him. Then he says God is a person. Then there's another different topic. But the first line, that impressed me. Where he's a guru, he's a teacher, but he doesn't identify himself as a God. So that immediately attracted me. And then I had some books of Hare Krishna because in 1987, I met one Hare Krishna devotee. He used to come to me. He left some books. So I already had some Hare Krishna books at my home, lying there for 3-4 years in my shelf. So when I came home, I immediately started reading this book and I started reading the other books. So then I started getting all the answers to my questions, which I have been looking for last 30-35 years. So that was defining moment of my life. That changed my life.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Das, for sharing that with us.
That's fine.
Well, let's move on to today's topic, which is about an introduction to Krishna consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, can you explain for us what is actually the difference between Hinduism, a mainstream religion, and Krishna consciousness, or otherwise known as ISKCON?
Well, ISKCON is an offshoot which is coming from the disciplic succession from time immemorial, since the time of creation, where let me explain you that way. Hinduism actually, in Vedic culture, we have got 4 Vedas, 18 Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, 108 Upanishads. So these are the scriptures. So these are the scriptures that Vedic culture is based on. but in all these scriptures there is not a single word written Hindu. Rather, Hindu word is when Arab people went to India 1,000 years ago. So in Arabic they could not say word sir properly, pronunciate these area from the Arab country, I don't know which, mainly was Turkish, from Turk, Muhammad Tughlaq, that sort of period. So when they went to India and they knew that India was Sone ki chidiya, golden sparrow. So when they went and they could not say word Sindhu, there's a river is called Sindhu River, they could not pronunciate properly river Sindhu, so they call it river Hindu. So all the people living on that side of the river, they call them Hindus. So these people on the other side of river Sindhu, they were following a Vedic culture, the culture which is the oldest culture in India, which is based on the Vedas. And in that culture, according to the Vedic culture, there is only one Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like we see, there are so many different, people think there's so many gods in India. But there is, according to Vedic culture, there is only one God. There are not so many gods as we have these days, misconception of Hindus that there are so many gods. So there's only one God, and that God's name is Krishna, or we call Vishnu. Sometimes another name of Krishna is Vishnu. So he is the only Supreme Personality of Godhead. And along with that, we have got 330 million demigods who are working for God.
You said 330
million demigods. It's like you go to a company or you go as a country. So country has got different, there's a minister of religion, a minister of agriculture, minister of electricity department, minister of water department. So there are different heads of the different departments. So similarly, this universe has got different heads who are running different parts of this universe. So according to that, there is a Varun Devta, Chandra Devta, Sun Devta. Like there is an electricity department, there is a water department. So in the water department that is run by Varun Devta, there is a personality, his name is Varun, so he runs the water department. So sun god and moon god, so they are running they are different departments like electricity department. Pavan Devta is oxygen departments. So there are different departments.
Are they similar to angels, or the concept of angels, like servants of God?
Yes, they are servants of God. Perfectly right. Yes. So they are more, not only like angels, but I mean they are much more, because they have got huge responsibility to do rather than simply just flying in the sky. They have to run different departments in the universe. So they are called, like Yamraj, death of, because everything is a personalities. There's a person, nothing comes automatically. So these are demigods. So of course, we come back to your question, is difference between Hindus and the Vedic culture and ISKCON. So in that part of the other side of the Sindhu River, so these people were of course worshipping God, and same time they were giving respect to the demigods. Now the reason is because it's like if you love me, love my children. You can't say, okay, I like you, but I don't like your children. If I come to your house, I say, well, Ajay, you're a very nice man, but I don't like your children. So you may be offended. So if I come to your office, I say, well, Ajay, I like you, but your staff is. So you have to give respect, because, if I come to you, that means in the house of environment. But relationship between your children and with your staff is different, but relationship with you will be different. So similarly, on the other side of Sindhu River, so which we called so many so-called Hindus, or Hindu culture, that was actually a Vedic culture. In that, people were worshipping Lord Vishnu or Krishna and respecting other different demigods, devatas. Where right word is not angel, the right word is devata to these demigods. And so the whole culture is based on the Vedic. So in that culture, it is coming in a disciplic succession from Krishna, from Lord Krishna to Lord Vishnu to Brahma, and from there to Narada to Vyasadeva. So in this culture which we are living in, we are coming in a disciplic succession of guru and disciple chain. So this chain is coming from all the way from Krishna and is coming to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is coming in chain from million of years old chain of Guru Parampara. And from his Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, like my guru, his one of his disciple, his name is Giriraj Swami, His Holiness Giriraj Swami. Now he is one of the main leader in the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, and I am his disciple. So this is called Vedic culture. So that is the difference. So in this ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, we are teaching simply what is the Vedic culture, what is Krishna. And in that culture, Krishna doesn't teach in Bhagavad Gita that I am for Hindu. He doesn't say, he says, Sarvajonisha Kantaya Mute Samavantiya Tasam Mahadjonir Aham Bij Pradopita. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, he says, I am seed-giving father for every living entity. And when Krishna says that I am seed-giving father for living entity, he is not speaking for Hindus, he is not speaking for Muslims or Christians. He is not even speaking for humans, he is speaking for every species of life. And then Krishna speaks, he says, Abhuraman Bhuvan Loko Punaravatino Arjuna. Then Krishna says, he is not only talking about this planet Earth, but he talks about the universe. He says every single living entity in the universe. So that culture, we are talking about the God, we are talking about the entire universe, we are talking about the every species of, that's why we are vegetarian even. But I'm not going to go to that topic, but because everybody is children of God. So that is the difference, which is misconception of understanding the right word of Vedic culture. Vedic culture is in the modern age is given the name as a Hindus. So, but according to Vedic culture, we are not Hindus, but we are rather everybody is children of God, no matter who you are.
Okay.
I hope that.
Well, following on from this understanding of 330 million demigods and Krishna as the supreme being, can you tell us what is actually the nature of God?
Very good. That's another good point actually attracted me. This is really when you asked me one first question in our talk that, a defining moment in my life. That's another thing which has impressed me about Swami Prabhupada, that he is not giving anything from his own mind, that he thinks like that. Like normally that's what we find in the world, like this religious person thinks like this. But he has not given anything from his own mind, rather he has given what he has learned from his guru, and he had learned from his guru, and he had learned from his guru. So it is coming in from the chain. It's like somebody sitting on a tree and he break one fruit and then he hand over to next person the next branch, and it comes into the branch without the fruit doesn't get spoiled. So similarly this definition of God, and that attracted me because it was not his own thinking, what he thinks about. This is what is coming since time immemorial, that God is not a force. According to Vedic culture, the God is not some sort of light. God is a person. Purnasya purnamidam purnameva vishishate. The God is complete, and from him everything emanates. So whatever we see, whatever we feel, whatever we look, everything in the first, it is in the God. God has got all these things. It's like, how can we produce something if we haven't got it? So according to Vedic culture, God is a person, and Aishwarya Samagrasya Vijashasriya. Prashar Muni has given a definition of God in Vishnu Puran, that God has 6 qualities incomplete.
Prashar Muni was a scholar?
Prashar Muni is one of the great sage, million of years old, and he has been in the same disciplic succession of.
So he was one of these gurus?
One of the gurus.
Okay.
Very, very old. He has given that statement is that God is complete, Aishwarya Samagrasasya. We all have got 6 things in common. Like attraction or strength. We all have some sort of strength of walking or talking, or some sort of beauty is there, and there is knowledge. We all have got some sort of knowledge. Even animals have some degree of knowledge. We all have some sort of knowledge. Then everybody has some sort of possession, some sort of wealth. And then there's always some sort of fame. Everybody involved with some sort of little fame. Even, sometimes you ask a child in his house, he says, my dad is very good. That's a fame. My father is a great. So that comes in the fame and renunciation. So we all have got certain degree of these things. Everybody has got these 6 things in certain degree, but not in complete. But the God has got complete, because Purnasya Purnamidam Purnameva Vishishyate. God is complete. So when God is complete, that means He has got everything in full. Sometimes this is what attracted me. Even I again tell you, this is like when I read this, that God is a person and He is the most beautiful person. Nobody can be more beautiful than God. But I've been studying, when I was studying different religions, because I born in Punjab, I done a degree in Bachelor of Commerce, then I done Masters in Economics. But along with that, I was interested in so many different religions. There was a very good friend of mine. His name is Rakesh Sharma. So we were very much interested into these sort of religious topics. But wherever I would read, and our family member used to think we are some sort of little crazy people. But everywhere the God is a light and a force. But that God is a person. And He is the most beautiful. It's like, I'll give you an example, it's like, I had a father. That's what, and then he had a father, then he had a father, then he had a father, then he had a father. So how can that be the original person? God is a formless. That He's got no form. So, but He has a form, and then He's the most beautiful. Nobody can be more beautiful than God. If somebody says, I'm more beautiful than God, or if God says, it's sometimes like people say God has got no form, that means God is lacking something. So if something is lacking in God, that means He can't be a God. God means He should have everything. So very first quality is He is all beautiful. And that you see and out of that you find that Krishna has got this quality. And Krishna is a bluish blackish boy, but is
that just meant to be symbolic, or is that actually how people perceive God to be?
No, he has his form is a rainy cloud. He's so beautiful. His color is so beautiful. He lives in the spiritual world, which is called Vaikuntha, Golok Vrindavan, Vaikuntha spiritual world. In that spiritual world, he is living with his associates. And even like in Christianity, they say there's a kingdom of God. So when there is a kingdom of God, that means there must be a king. How can be a kingdom of God without a king? So there should be a king and they should be his associates. But when you come to the Vedic culture, then you see that Krishna is the most attractive. The God is most attractive, most beautiful person. And that most beautiful person, his color is a rainy cloud color, which there is not such a color in this material world which can match. And that beauty, he's so beautiful.
It sounds actually kind of sad though, a rainy cloud.
No. He is so beautiful, and there is not, because there is no such thing you can compare it to it. While in the material world, the material world is perverted reflection. We cannot imagine that, that's how beautiful that will be. Because when Krishna was performing his pastimes 5,000 years ago, everybody was attracted to Krishna. So when you go more details, when you study more about it, about his form, then you really enjoy it.
So there are these 6 qualities of
There's
human
another
beings.
one too. There's a strength. Go full in strength. Like when Krishna was when Krishna was visiting this planet Earth 5,000 years ago on the request of Brahma. Brahma is the creator of this universe. Even he's not God. So on his request, when he came to this world, he comes. That's a different topic. But last time he visited 5,000 years ago, so he showed that nobody can beat him, and that he showed his strength and the knowledge. God is full in knowledge. We may eat something today, and tomorrow we may forget what we have eaten. And we forget, not even yesterday's, we can forget what we have done today, this morning. But God, He remembers everything and about everything. And then God has got wealth. He's got all wealthy. You may have little, so Krishna has got, God means He should have everything. So God should have the whole knowledge, God should have all wealth, and God should be all famous, and He should be all renunciate. So anybody, strength, beauty, strength, knowledge, wealth, famous, renunciation. So anybody who has got everything in full, he's called God. So we are not saying that because we are worshipping Krishna, that's why he is God, but we are saying you find these 6 qualities in full. Whoever God is, he is a God. So that comes, these qualities comes in. Fortunately, you'll find the only person who got these qualities, not even other devatas has got it. Even Brahma and Shiva, Durga, nobody's got it. So these 6 qualities in full are only manifest in Krishna or Vishnu, and that's why it's called God.
Well, let's look at human beings. We've spoken about God, and you said that there are these 6 qualities that God embodies to the highest, supreme, in full.
Yeah.
Now, as human beings, we're striving to become perfect or striving to become divine in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the concept of reincarnation, there is this process, but can you explain what is reincarnation actually really all about?
Krishna explains that natave vaham jatu nasham natavam neme janadipa nachyavna vivishyan sarvevyamte param. There was never a time when you did not exist, I did not exist, or all these kings. And there not will a time when you won't exist, I won't exist, and these kings won't exist. So in the speech we have got 2 different, we are separate living entity, we are part of Krishna, but we are separate parts, that we are servant. So we all serving God in the spiritual world, and nobody comes down from the spiritual world. But Krishna is not a dictator, God is not a dictator. So He has given a minute independence to the living entities. Even in the spiritual world, He is living with them with love and harmony. But if anybody likes to, if somebody misuses independence and he likes to come and enjoy separate than God, then this material world is made for that purpose. This material world is created by Brahma under the order of Vishnu, Lord Krishna, which is controlled by 330 million demigods. And in this world, the different species of life is created. That's exactly what reincarnation, which your question is asked. So this place is created for the living entity to enjoy separate than Krishna, which is created by Brahma, and 330 million demigods, they are assisting Brahma to control this universe. And in this universe, 8.4 million species of life is created. Jaljanam lakshani, sthavra lakshmishati, karma rudsanka, pakshnam trish lakshani, chatur lakshani mansha. So these are 9 million species of life, aquatic, and Jaljan Sthavra Lakshmishti, 20,000 plants and trees. So like that, so on, 400,000 different species of human. So these all different species of life is created. So one can enjoy in this world separate than God. And then you go from one body to another body.
But isn't reincarnation about trying to develop yourself to become higher and higher so that ultimately you come back to God?
Very good, very good. This is what it is. This is very good. But eventually, actually, when God has given independence, so anybody who would like to do whatever God arranges for the person. There are bottom life is aquatic life, and the topmost life is the human form of life. And the human form of life, when we get in that human form of life, is Jiva Siddhata Jigyasa. The purpose of human form of life is who I am, what I'm doing, what is this world is all about. Aha nidra bhay methuncha janam mrityu jara vyadi. There's a problem from birth, there's a problem from death, and in between birth and death there's a problem from old age, and there's a problem from disease, and there's adhyatmik, adi bhautik, adi devik dukh. There are miseries from our mind, there's miseries from other living entities.
Can we look at that? Because you mentioned there's the problems from birth and these other problems, and there's misery. What is the origin of that misery? In other words, what's the origin of all this evil that people find themselves doing?
Good question. There's no such thing, evil. I mean, what it is, you see, forgetfulness of God. It's like a child. If somebody is a very rich father, and the father is very rich, and the child, become little disobedient, he said, well, father, I want to live separate than you. Now the father doesn't want to throw his child away. So father says, no son, please, everything is for you. But if the child, by disobeying the order of father and leave the association of father, then he is in the loitering on the street. So he is rotting in without money, without food, without so many other things. He struggles. So this is what all about. But when he comes back to his senses, no, actually my father is rich. He is extremely rich. So then he is happy again. So similarly, we have left the association of our richest father. I told you, even when you asked me a question in the beginning, all wealth. Krishna has got all wealth. So we have left our richest father. So when living entity leaves his richest father, so without the father he is struggling in this world. So the root cause of evilness or root cause of suffering is not actually that, God is some dictator and if you won't obey him, he will punish you, throw you into hell and all these sort of things. God is not. Which father will throw you in the hell if you don't obey him? No father will throw you. Father still loves his children. Even if they are disobedient, he still wants his children to be corrected. So when we are living, because we are living separate than from our Father, Supreme Father, so that is the only root cause of our miseries. So that root cause of our miseries, we are suffering because we are orphans. When somebody is orphan, he suffers. A child is orphan, he suffers. So the root cause of suffering in this world is forgetfulness of Krishna. And this material world, that is the only root cause of the suffering in this material world. So we are going one body to another body.
Well, I'm afraid we've actually run out of time for this section of the interview. I look forward to continuing the conversation in part 2.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Das.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Well, you've been watching The Defining Moment for Creating the Culture of Conscience. If you'd like to find out more, we're on the web at www.definingmoment.eu. Thank you for watching, and we wish you all the best.